with Tim Keller of the Institute for Justice. Tim, tell us about the Institute for Justice.
Sure. The Institute for Justice is a libertarian public interest law firm. Through strategic litigation, communication, outreach, training, we seek to advance a rule of law under which individuals can control their destinies as free and responsible members of society.
Okay. And what are the objectives of the Institute of Justice?
Sure. We litigate in really four core areas. We seek to defend economic liberty, which is the right to earn an honest living free from unreasonable government regulations by doing things like challenging barriers to entrepreneurship. We seek to protect private property rights, particularly from eminent domain abuse when the government tries to take property not for some public use but for a purely private use. We also seek to ensure school choice programs are upheld and that the parents have the right to choose the school that best suits their child's needs. And we also seek to protect the rights of citizens to participate in the political process by seeking to strike down laws that would prohibit them from speaking about things that matter most, like who should be elected to office.
Tell us about the law in Louisiana that the Institute for Justice is contesting.
Sure. Right now we are challenging a Louisiana law that requires aspiring florists to first take and pass a licensing exam before they can legally arrange and sell flowers. Louisiana is the only state in the country that requires individuals to first obtain a licensing before they can legally arrange and sell flowers. It's the Institute's position that it's difficult to conceive of an occupation that is less in need of government regulation than that of arranging and selling flowers.
Representative Franklin Foyle has sponsored a bill to repeal a portion of that law. How does that affect your lawsuit?
Sure. Representative Foyle's bill does not go far enough. In order to obtain the license, an individual has to take not only a written exam, but also pass a demonstration or practical exam where they put together a series of floral arrangements that is judged by their future competition. Representative Foyle's bill would eliminate the practical or design portion of the exam, so it would indeed eliminate the power of already licensed florists to keep their competition out, which is a step in the right direction. But it would still require florists to take and pass some sort of written exam before they can legally engage in their business. It's simply unnecessary, arbitrary regulation, no matter how you slice it. So the state should do away with both aspects of the licensing exam.
Okay, do you think campaign finance law violates free speech?
Absolutely. Campaign finance laws routinely violate freedom of speech and association. One example here locally was a bill that would actually require candidates who raised money above a certain limit to actually transfer their money that they receive from their donors to candidates who haven't raised as much. Campaign finance reformers are constantly seeking to level the political playing field and redistribute resources. Those types of laws violate an individual's right to be associated with a campaign and to donate to a campaign, and it also violates a candidate's right to get his message out. We believe that the First Amendment means what it says. Congress shall pass no law restricting freedom of speech and freedom of association.
Okay. And are you familiar with the law that requires you to buy a casket from a licensed funeral home here in Louisiana?
Yes. In fact, we've challenged similar requirements in other states. Basically, in order to just sell a casket to somebody, which really amounts to nothing more than a box, Louisiana and other states require you to first obtain a license as an established funeral director. Essentially, you have to learn how to embalm bodies, handle bodies, which in our opinion is an unconstitutional restriction on freedom of entrepreneurship. We challenged a Tennessee law several years ago that we got struck down that similarly restricted sales on caskets, so that our client, who was actually a pastor, could sell caskets to his congregations at a much lower cost to his folks.
Yeah. And what are some of the other cases that the Institute for Justice has been involved in?
Sure. All across the country, we've challenged a number of different licensing schemes. We've challenged occupational licenses for African American hair braiders, individuals who were simply practicing a heritage that was passed down from one generation to another, working with African American hair. States were imposing on them a requirement to go out and participate in to obtain a cosmetology license that was thousands of dollars and thousands of hours of training, not one iota of which actually trained them in the art of hair braiding. So we've challenged those and struck those down. We've challenged taxi licensing schemes. We opened up the taxi market in Denver, Colorado. In fact, the work at the Institute for Justice, there's actually a company on the streets called Freedom Cabs. We've challenged interior design regulations all across the country. When the government says individuals who can legally work as interior designers can't call themselves interior designers unless they first pass a licensing exam. We've gone in on their behalf and said no, the U.S. Constitution protects an individual's right to honestly communicate the work that they do to their consumers, and we've had those so-called title restrictions struck down on behalf of interior designers.
Okay. And Tim, how can somebody find Institute for Justice? What's the web address or any other information you might want to give? Absolutely.
The best place to go to find out more information about the Institute for Justice is our website, www.ij.org. So ij.org, lots of information about the organization, and also some wonderful videos that we've produced about our cases. Can be found right there on our FreedomFlix page, right from the homepage. Click on FreedomFlix and you can see some of the work that we're engaged in all across the country.
Okay, Tim, thank you for visiting with Inside Louisiana News.
Thank you.